What is going on, people? This is Gaby Baby, and I'm back with episode 7 of my Washington football team franchise. This is the playoffs for the NFL. We are not in the playoffs as a team, but there are some good teams that are playing in the playoffs right now. As you can see, our dashboard is up. We have $53 million in available salary cap. Current roster is 65 of 53, so there's an overage of 12 players, I believe. I'm calculating it right. But we're going to try to re-sign some players during the playoff time frame from our players on the team. Just two key players that I'm honing in on. Charles Leno Jr., our left tackle, and our right guard, Brandon Sheriff. Right now, we're a 81 overall team, 80 offense, 81 defense. The Dallas Cowboys are in the playoffs. You see to the right, we have our top needs: center, left end, and quarterback. That's incorrect, and that's based on the generated needs off of the Madden franchise. And so you can see the playoffs right now. Chargers going up against the Bills to the AFC left. Patriots and the Bengals. Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we have the Ravens still number 1 in the AFC. And number 1 in the NFC is the Cardinals. Bucks against the Saints. Green Bay against the Rams, and the Cowboys versus the 49ers. And so I'll be simulating through these weeks of the playoffs to let you know what's going on in the playoffs. So Joe Judge, he was fired by the Giants for just 2 seasons with them, and same with Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. So I simulated the first week, the wild card week of the playoffs, and we had the Buccaneers crushing the New Orleans Saints, the Green Bay Packers crushing the LA Rams, the Cowboys losing once again. I enjoyed that, to the 49ers in an NFC East. And it looks like we had the Cardinals going against San Francisco the following week, and the Bucs going against the Packers. Just wanted to deep dive into the 56-0 shutout of the Saints. This was crazy. We had Brady throwing over 300 yards. I'm surprised he didn't throw more based on the score. So obviously it was a team effort during this game. Leonard Fournette ran for over 100 yards. Kamara only had 44 yards. He probably contributed to the team losing. Well, the Saints didn't even score a touchdown. That's crazy. Mike Evans, 89 catching yards. Gronkowski, 65 catching yards. So now we're going to re-signing our key players on the team. Charles Leno Jr., this is the first offer we're giving this gentleman. He's a 78 overall, 8 years in the league. And I think he's originally asked for $22 million, and we're going to offer him 21. He says it's a nice salary, but he wants to improve the rest, I guess, the bonus. And then I wanted to take a look at some of the left tackles that will be free agents this coming off season. You have Cam Robinson. These are the possible free agents that they decide not to sign with their team. Cam Robinson out of Alabama. He's a 74 overall. I believe he was a first-round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 5 years in the league. 6'6", 320. He's huge. He's only 26 years old. He's a pass blocker. That's our scheme. Pass protection, 70 overall. Agile, 71. And power, 74 for his archetype. So he could be a possible signing in the offseason. He's not as good as Charles Leno Jr. He doesn't have as many years. He has 3 less years. And I think he's 3 years younger than Charles Leno Jr. So maybe we can possibly develop him. They're both develop at a normal rate. So we'll see what happens. Next up, we have Armstead from the Saints. He could be a free agent this offseason. He's a 94 overall, 31 years old. He earned $9.51 million last year. And then we have D. Brown from the Seattle Seahawks. He's 37 years old, so he's much older, but he's an 82 overall. Dwayne Brown. We could possibly use him. And then you have Jason Peters. He's an old man, 40 years old. He'll be 41. These players, these older ones, could possibly be retiring based on the Madden simulation. So now let's go into prospects. So for the left tackles, the first one we have is Imani Nash from Wisconsin, about 6'5", 6'6", projected 3rd to 4th rounder. He's okay. Then we have Marcus Hammond from Notre Dame. He's about 6'5", elite acceleration, solid to good strength. And then we have Franklin from Purdue. He's another day 3 prospect. Elite agility, elite acceleration. Looks like he's an athlete. Run blocking is a B. Pass blocking is a C. So these are just some left tackle options that we might have just in case we're not able to sign Charles Leno, or maybe we just want to develop a backup left tackle to just be a solid backup left tackle that we can possibly draft in the 3rd to 4th round, or maybe even later in the draft if there's some spillage with these players. Phillip Worth out of Pittsburgh, 6'7", and these are some pretty good sized left tackles. I mean, you should be about at least 6'3", 6'4" at a minimum. Brian Porter out of Georgia. And then we have some of the centers. Ross Freeman, he's a projected 2nd to 3rd rounder. The draft experts state that he is a fit for our team. Impact blocking is an A. That's a solid prospect, I think, right there. You have Roy Farley. Pass block is A. Pass block finesse is a B. Projected 3rd to 4th round out of South Carolina. I favor both of those gentlemen for centers. They could be good backup centers for Chase Roulier. And then I'm looking at the tight end position. Blair Britton, looking for a second tight end. I'm planning not to re-sign Ricky Seals-Jones. Maybe possibly sign a tight end in the offseason, but I like this project right here. Blair Britton, he's the 2nd rated tight end prospect in the draft. And so we're going to simulate the the divisional playoff week. And the only thing that has changed with our dashboard is that our top needs have changed. First one is quarterback, which I agree. Next one is tight end, which I somewhat agree. And the third one is free safety. So now we have the Cardinals losing to the underdog wild card San Francisco 49ers. The Buccaneers beat the Green Bay Packers 38-24. And it's going to be the Bucs and the San Francisco 49ers playing in NFC the NFC Championship. And we have the Ravens beating the Chiefs. And we have the Patriots beating the Los Angeles Chargers, led by rookie Mac Jones. By the way, Mac Jones is having an outstanding season in the NFL as a rookie. And we had the Patriots versus the Baltimore Ravens for the AFC Championship game. And these 4 teams are going to decide who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. And so this is our second attempt with trying to re-sign Charles Leno Jr. We're adjusting the contract a little bit, the contract offer, hoping to really re-sign him. We're going to make every effort each week of the playoffs to re-sign this player before he goes into free agency. So, this guy, he wants the right contract offer. I'm happy with the salary, but I was hoping for a better bonus. So, he's probably going to hold off on signing with us with this contract offer. Then we're offering Brandon Sheriff about $41.2 million, adjusting the signing bonus a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be approximately about $40 million for 3 years He's 30 years old, 7 years in the league. He was our top 6 overall pick in the draft. The contract lift works, but that's it, so he's probably going to deny this one. And consider we're trying to sign both of these big boys on the offensive line. Terry McLaurin, he has one more year left on his contract going into that final year of his contract next season. He's a 92 overall. He's a superstar X-Factor player. So it's key for us to keep him in mind to re-sign him next season. We definitely will. Caught receiving 83 catches, over 1,200 yards receiving, and he's going to be a key player that we sign. So I want to go into some of the winners in the offseason for the entire season. Tom Brady winning the MVP. Cliff Kingsbury, Coach of the Year for the Arizona Cardinals. For the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, Offensive Player of the Year for the AFC. Lamar Jackson coming in second. Justin Herbert coming in third. And so for the defensive side, we have Harold Landry III, Defensive Player of the Year from the Tennessee Titans. Second was Myles Garrett. Mac Jones winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Behind him is his running back from Alabama, Najee Harris. And then you have Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 pick overall. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Greg Russo out of Miami, defensive end for the Buffalo Bills. And the best quarterback is Joe Burrow. It's Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow actually came in second for the Cincinnati Bengals. Best running back is Jonathan Taylor. Had a excellent season this year. I think this was his second year coming out of Wisconsin. He had Jamar Chase. He was the best wide receiver this year, obviously. Second one was Tyreek Hill. For the best offensive lineman was Stanley from the Baltimore Ravens, and then Quentin Nelson behind him from the Indianapolis Colts. Best defensive lineman was Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. And of course the best linebacker was Harold Landry, since he was the best defensive player of the year. Josh Allen from the Jacksonville Jaguars came in second. The best defensive back was J.C. Jackson from the New England Patriots. Best kicker was Michael Bagley from the Indianapolis Colts. Tom Brady on the NFC side was Offensive Player of the Year, so he adds that to his list. Defensive player, Bosa from the San Francisco 49ers. Rookie of the Year for offense was Devontae Smith from Alabama. And you saw what he did to us in the regular season. Scored 2 touchdowns on us in 1 game. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys. Second one was Ojulari, came in second for Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Jamin Davis, our rookie, came in 4th. So for passing for the Washington football team, Taylor Heineke threw for over 3,700 yards, 66% for completion, with an overall rating of 82. And he was sacked 33 times. And of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he only played like maybe a couple of downs for us. Antonio Gibson ran for over 1,200 yards, almost got 1,300 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, average 75 rushing yards per game with 5 fumbles. Terry McLaurin, 9 TD catches, caught 1,200 yards, average 70 yards per game, 14.5 yards per receiving catch. And right behind him was J.D. McKissick, our backup running back. And the closest person that we had for receiving after him was, for an actual receiver, was the tight end or a wide receiver, was Seals Jones, since Logan Thomas was injured a good amount of the season. right after Thomas is Cam Sims. And then you see Curtis Samuel, 172 receiving yards. That's all he had. Diami Brown, our rookie, caught a little bit over 100 receiving yards. Our blockers, top blockers for the team. Brandon Shera only allowed 1 sack on the season. And the same thing with Charles Leno Jr. And that's the reason why we're trying to re-sign these veterans. Landon Collins, one of our top tacklers on the team. And number 1 was Cole Holcomb, our linebacker. Jonathan Allen with 9 sacks on the season. Landon Collins with 2 sacks on the season also. Cam Curl, 64 tackles on the season, 30 assists, 34 total tackles, and 64 solo. So excuse me if I might have said that incorrectly. And he had 1 sack. Jamin Davis, our rookie, 53 solo tackles, 28 assists. Chase Young, unfortunately, was injured most of the season. He had that ACL tear, which made him out for the season. I think it was like during the first half of the season. So I'm simulate this week and moving into the Pro Bowl and just another playoff picture tree. So the Baltimore Ravens lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. They're going to the Super Bowl. And the Bucks beat the San Francisco 49ers. So it's going to be the Bucks and the Patriots. Tom Brady going against his old team with Bill Belichick coaching the Patriots. And we have players on each NFC and AFC side for the Pro Bowl. See the running backs. Elliott. We have Antonio Gibson from the Washington football team. Made the NFC team. And I'm just going to highlight a few players as I go through this list. Deebo Samuel was on the NFC team. Mark Andrews, tight end from Baltimore Ravens. And a lot of these players I'm not too familiar with myself, just to be honest. You got Cam Jordan, Nick Bosa for the NFC, Aaron Donald. And I like the fact that they don't have the players they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl on the Pro Bowl teams. I didn't know that Madden exclude them from Pro Bowl teams. So that's definitely realistic, and I appreciate Madden taking those players out. And since that's what they do in real life, they don't have the players they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl playing the Pro Bowl game the week before. I'm not sure if Madden had that in prior franchise, but that's good looking out for Madden. Jamal Adams for the NFC. I think his name is Malcolm Williams from the New Orleans Saints, safety. And I don't know if I mentioned it. They actually have Josh Norman as one of the cornerbacks that made the Pro Bowl. And so you can see we get an action from Ron Rivera. He's going to be coaching the NFC. And he said this is the only chance he'll get to see all the elite players on the team on the field at one time. It's a great opportunity to see what's out there. So we get 5 stat points for that media event, and that boosts us up to 23. And so for the line guru, we're going to increase our ability to sign linemen through free agency. I thought that this action, no, I wouldn't say I thought the action was just for internal. So there you go. Lost in the Pro Bowl game, 38-7, got crushed, threw a lot of interceptions. But yeah, I increased our ability to sign linemen in the offseason. Some of the free agents, they're going to be there because we definitely need linemen. And so Charles Leno Jr., he likes the salary but doesn't like the signing bonus on that action right there. So it's going to be another week of working with him, trying to get him signed. And so we offer Brandon Shera another contract offer, trying to re-sign him before the offseason begins. Tweaking the contract offer a little bit. Hopefully he can sign, and we're gonna offer it to him. He says it's a decent offer. I just need it a little bit better. And so just quickly going through each of our players on the team, just scrubbing the list of players that want to re-sign. And basically we're just cutting off negotiations period, saying that we're not interested, just to make things easier. So this concludes the video. Hope you enjoyed it. On the next video, I'm gonna show you who's the winner of Super Bowl 56 between the Patriots and the Buccaneers. And we're gonna go into the draft, sign some free agents, and just go over the entire offseason just before we hit the preseason. Appreciate you watching. Peace.